For some, it is still a mystery. Thousands of cows mutilated in New Mexico and other states.
One investigator did determine that there was really nothing strange or unusual. But what did the FBI have to say about that? Federal agents got involved in the case at the urging of a U.S. senator from New Mexico more than 30 years ago. News 13's Tim Maestas got into that FBI file for tonight's special assignment. But first, a warning. Some of the images that you are about to see are graphic.
It was the mid to late 1970s. Cows were dying, and no one could explain why. The New Mexico Livestock Board didn't know.
One thing unusual about it, it seemed to be healthy animals.
Ranchers across New Mexico didn't know either. People like Robert Burns of Naravisa, a tiny town just west of the Texas state line.
Well, I was curious what the hell did happen. I wasn't even looking for the cow. I just came up on her.
Usually all swollen up. Its eyes, ears, tongue, soft tissue, sexual organs and stuff was missing from them.
It wasn't just here. The strange deaths were occurring in other states too. But eventually, New Mexico ended up at the center of the cattle mutilation mystery. Who or what was behind the deaths? UFOs, scavengers, a mysterious criminal enterprise, or secret government operatives? The number of questions grew, and the story was making headlines across the country. Here in New Mexico, state and local investigators were traveling to some of the most remote parts of the state, responding to the cattle deaths. Eventually, the push came to get the FBI involved, but it would not be easy. Behind the push was U.S. Senator for New Mexico Harrison Schmitt. In a letter dated December 21st of 1978, Senator Schmitt writes to then U.S. Attorney General Griffin Bell, very concerned at what appears to be a continual pattern of organized federal criminal activity, urging the U.S. Justice Department to consider a federal investigation. The Attorney General responds the next month, referring to the subject as one of the strangest phenomenons in his memory. The letters are part of the FBI's 130-page file on cattle mutilations, a 1-inch thick pile of incident reports, newspaper clippings, letters, and memos that reveal a resistance on the part of the FBI to participate in the investigation.
I couldn't think of any jurisdiction we would happen to think matter.
When the mutilation mystery hit its peak, Forrest Putman was heading up the FBI's Albuquerque field office as special agent in charge. In March of 1979, the Justice Department directed the FBI to participate, but agents were limited to a total of 15 cattle mutilations reported on New Mexico's Indian land in federal jurisdiction. All the other cattle deaths did not appear to qualify as federal offenses. By then, the FBI's Albuquerque office had already suggested the codename Bavmut. Federal agents started coordinating with state and local agencies and sharing information.
There was a lot of theories on what they were, what was causing it.
The FBI was on board in a way. Included in the FBI file are memos that communicate a clear concern the FBI may have been overstepping its bounds, asking the Justice Department to secure congressional approval or an executive order clearing the way for FBI agents to investigate. In April of 1980, the FBI laboratory analyzed flakes of unknown material taken from the roof of a pickup truck whose driver reported seeing a UFO in Taos. The lab determined the flakes came from a type of exterior house paint. The flakes were sent by a retired FBI agent named Ken Rommel, who took on the role of chief investigator. Not for the feds, though, for the Santa Fe County District Attorney's Office in a project funded by a government grant. The FBI's involvement faded away, with the Albuquerque office placing the matter in a closed status.
That's where she was laying.
Robert Burns was one of the ranchers listed in the FBI file. Almost 35 years after finding one of his cows in a position similar to this one, he still has questions. Were the other cows acting strange?
Oh, no.
Even though he's put the mystery far behind him, the cow's death is something he cannot explain. Do you think more investigation could have been done?
I think more could have been done. Because the cow wouldn't, and the critter wouldn't do that. I don't think.
The government-funded Santa Fe County DA's office report was complete in June of 1980, with former FBI agent Ken Rommel determining the so-called cattle mutilation phenomenon was nothing more than the normal decomposition of animals that had died from natural causes, assisted by whatever scavengers and or predators that were accessible to the carcass.
There's still some deaths now that people view as suspicious.
According to the Livestock Board, recent cases are not as abundant as they were in the past, and the deaths are easily explained now. Deputy Director Bobby Pierce says investigators' findings explain most of the deaths from the 1970s, but not all of them.
About 95% of these cases were natural cause deaths and predators. About 5% of these cases, there never was an answer. It was always unknown exactly what might have happened.
Tim Maestas, KRQE News 13.
Mutilated cattle were found as far away as Kansas, Washington State, and Minnesota. To read the entire FBI file, go to krqe.com. Notice